What is going on, everyone? Eagles up 14-10 at the break. Me and Shane breaking it all down. Make sure you go follow Shane on X at ShaneHalfNFL. What's going on, Shane?
What's up, Deibs? I have a love-hate relationship with 1 o'clock games because I never get home until like 1:45, and I'm trying to speed through to catch up by halftime. It's kind of okay because I get to just speed through the Eagles being total garbage in the first quarter and get to the second quarter. So that is kind of nice. I mean, I still watch it all, but I at least don't have to sit through commercial breaks. I can just zip through it. So that's kind of nice. I'm grateful for the 1 o'clock game today.
It's legit insane just how bad the Philadelphia Eagles are in the first quarter. ChatGPT could script a better first 15 plays than Nick Sirianni and Kellen Moore. But here we are. We're gonna break it down, guys. If you're watching us live, make sure you go check out Eagles Pinpool on X and make sure you like and subscribe. We'll be here for halftime for about 8 to 10 minutes, and then of course for post game with Johnny Page and maybe one more. Who knows? We've got Tech in the house saying I don't mind the struggle. I'm not that worried, Shane. I'm not hitting the panic button. This is what I said during Birds of the Roundtable. Carolina the last few weeks has been playing better than their record indicates. They played KC tough. They played Tampa Bay tough. Their last 4 games, 1-point win against the Saints, 3-point win against the Giants, 3-point loss against the Chiefs, 3-point loss against the Bucks. At the end of the day, though, I am concerned about this offense. If this is what they're going to come out, if this is what we should expect in the postseason, I'm a little worried, Shane. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not concerned about this game. And, it's hard to act like this is a huge issue. And they literally did the same thing last week to the Ravens, who are an AFC title contender, and they still win that game. But at a certain point, you are going to have to play 4 quarters of football. And you can't do this. You can't do this every week. And I mean, this is week 14 so far of the Eagles doing this consistently. And so it's a problem, and it's a problem that's not going away. And at this point, I don't know that it is going to go away. So you need the defense to start strong every game, and you need the offense to wake up in the second quarter, because you're not going to be able to do this all the way through a playoff run and not end up in some tight spots. And so it's almost at the point I just don't think they're going to figure it out early in games. So they're just going to have to continue to try to win this way.
Yep. John saying credit to the Panthers. They're playing well. I think they're playing well too, although the Eagles have had success with Saquon running the football, 9 carries for 49 yards. They just shoot themselves in the foot. They did it, I think, on the first series where they had a couple of nice runs there with Saquon and Kenny Gainwell. And then on the next possession, I think they got a field goal out of it or a touchdown, I forget. But on the next possession, they didn't utilize Saquon whatsoever. At this point, the game plan for the Eagles has to be simplified to 2 concepts at the start of these games. You either hand it off to Saquon, or it's a pass play with 1 to 2 reads to A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith. A.J. Brown didn't see the ball until just over 1 minute remaining in the first half. That's inexcusable, Shane. I don't have any other word. I'm glad Devontae is getting more touches here, although his routes are terrible. They could still improve. But A.J. Brown not being involved in this offense, this passing offense has some concerns.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think the run game's been great. They're only at a 39% success rate running the football, and it's just been a lot of stuff. You had a good first run that comes back off a holding. I think that was the first run. You've got the RPO slant flat where he tries to go to a second read, and you just can't do that on an RPO. You get ineligible man downfield, and so you've had penalties. Hurts has had some bad misses. I don't know how you overthrow a guy that's Johnny Wilson's size. That should never happen. So Hurts has not played well. Then he has, the play where a guy comes right through and is on top of him, and he not only breaks the sack, he not only doesn't fumble, he breaks the sack, and he doesn't just break the sack, he scrambles for a first down. And so he brings you things. There's elements that he's doing well, but by and large, it was a pretty poor first half performance from Hurts. And I'm going there a lot more than I am for play calling on this. If I'm assigning blame, it's like 85% Hurts and not a lot on the play calling right now.
Yeah, I'm not making excuses for Jalen Hurts. He did have that throw to Devontae at the end there. He did have a nice third down scramble. But in general, for the first half, I saw a lot of not seeing the field. I saw a lot of Jalen Hurts missing simple progressions, missing open reads. Not a great – he does have 2 touchdowns. Just not seeing the field well, man. Quick thoughts on Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, he hasn't been good in the first half. He's had a couple of plays, but he wasn't good in the first half. The nice thing about Hurts is those things generally don't persist for an entire game. And so we talk a lot about how he doesn't let those things snowball. It would be nice to just start the game better. It's become a pattern. It's every game Hurts starts poorly and then turns it on in the second quarter, in this case, maybe the second half. So I'm fully confident that he'll come out and play better in the second half, but the first half was pretty rough.
This is the script, man. This is what happens every week. Jalen misses plays in the first half. People talk about how terrible of a quarterback he is during our halftime show, blah, blah, blah. Then the Eagles come back and win the game, and pretty much the haters are quiet the rest of the week. That's kind of been the MO for the Philadelphia Eagles. Play calling is not the issue. Hurts is the issue. AJ's being Tannehilled. A lot of people hitting the panic button in the chat. Again, guys, we will be live for post game. Hurts will not lead this team. Man, this is rough. This is rough for a 14-10 lead here at the break. Let's go to defense. Zach Bond all over the place yet again. 7 tackles, a sack, 2 tackles for loss. He has been everywhere. In general, I think the tackling for the Eagles on defense has been a little rough today, and they were due for kind of a slip up. I do think Bryce Young has kind of found himself just a little bit. That throw, that missed throw he had where Chauncey Gardner-Johnson picked it off was a bad throw. But that one throw he had on like 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4 was a dime. That was a great play action pass. Where do you want to go for the defense, Shane?
Yeah, we can talk about Zach Bond and Nakobe Dean and them lighting up the box scores again. I think the 2 biggest things for me coming out of the half are, one, that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's not seriously injured, because that looked like it could have been like a knee type thing, how he went down, and that would have been really bad with Reed Blankenship already out. So glad to see him back on the field and seeing him make a play there. And you mentioned it's a bad throw by Bryce Young. Some of that's probably, pressure drives that because he's a smaller guy. So I'm sure vision is coming into play with that as well. But so glad to see Chauncey Gardner-Johnson back out there. And then, you mentioned, or somebody in the chat mentioned, Cooper DeJean. It was a rough half for Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean is pretty much, I was about to say he's faced pretty much no adversity, and that seems like a silly thing to say about a guy that got injured in training camp. But since being inserted in a starter, Cooper DeJean has not had a bad half of football, and he just had his first one. So I'm really anxious to see, and it wasn't terrible, but he got by a vet a few times. I'm anxious to see how he bounces back, because this is really the first time in his starting NFL career that he's kind of been punched in the mouth. So I'm ready to see how he looks coming back out.
Yep. I'm not worried. The Eagles...
No, I'm not either, but that resiliency, it's been a big thing. It's been a big theme for this whole team. I'm ready to see it on an individual level here with Cooper DeJean.
Yeah, this was his welcome to the NFL moment. Yeah, he locked up CD, Chase, Cup. Thielen has definitely got his number here in the first half. Keith says also not worried. Let's wrap it up, Shane. Second half adjustments. What's your thoughts on the second half?
You'd like the defense to pretty well do what they've been doing. They've been getting some pressure on Bryce Young, clean up the tackling a little bit, contain Chuba Hubbard. I don't like seeing Hubbard on pace for 126 yards, but just clamp down, tighten up things on defense, and offensively, throw the football in under 4 seconds. Like, let's get in a rhythm. Let's do the same thing we did last week. Target the middle of the field off of play action, and everything else is going to fall into place.
Fully agree. I'm looking at that time of possession. Holy crap. The Panthers have owned 18 minutes in the first half. That needs to get better. The Eagles need to be the aggressors and own time of possession in the second half. And to the Panthers' credit, they have looked pretty solid in the trenches today so far. So, guys, we'll be back for post-game. He is Shane Haff at Shane Haff NFL. I am Deibs, Mr. Crockpot. We'll see you in about an hour. Stay awesome, everyone. Go Bird.